Welcome to the Choose to Change 90-Day Reentry Program. If you're a visitor or new to this program, we welcome you and we're glad that you are here. Many of us walked into these rooms not knowing what to expect, but many of us stayed because we saw real people with real problems who had real hope. This 90-Day Reentry Program is a self-supporting group sponsored by the Choose to Change Foundation. There are no dues or fees to attend a class, but we do encourage donations from our members and to anyone who believes in what we are doing. We also have Orlando's book, Dead Man Walking, for sale, and that's another way to help this foundation. The only requirement for membership is a sincere desire to change. So if you're ready to change your life, then you are in the right place. Through this program, you will learn the tools and resources to finally change your life forever and a relationship-based support system to keep you going. For many of us, there's no easy way out of the mess we created in our lives, even if it wasn't your fault. But the good news is that there is a way out if you would choose to believe in the impossible. Welcome again. My name is Frank Salazar, and I've been a member of the Choose to Change Foundation for 10 years, and it's been quite a ride, and it's been quite a day today. It was a good day. A lot of things were lining up for me, and then I got a call 5 minutes before I walked into this class. Some plans that I had next week changed around, but hey, that happens. We just take it one day at a time, and God is good. We're going to have a great meeting today. Orlando Salinas is the founder and CEO of the Choose to Change Foundation. And I mentioned before, he has a book for sale in the back, Dead Man Walking, and proceeds to that go to help the Choose to Change Foundation. Now, there he is. And without further ado, if he's ready, let's hear it for Orlando Salinas.
Thank you, Frank. After you, sir. All right. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We live stream these every week. So let me see. Let me get ready here. So then if you learn something here, or you hear something here, or you want to see the class again, just go to Choose to Change on your YouTube, and you'll find our YouTube channel, Choose to Change. All right. I'm super excited. Got new people here. I was expecting new people. And so then I'm, man, I almost just want to get started. Every time I have new people, I'm get really excited. And you'll find out here in a minute why. So stay calm for a minute. I'm trying to calm down. But I need to do some announcements first. So just want to welcome everybody. So go to the chicken plate sale. So one of the things we do at Choose to Change, I go into prisons, I go into rehab centers. I always travel. We're always doing this class. I go into the parole office. I go into rehab. Tomorrow I'll be at the rehab, and we raise money to keep our ministry going. And one of the things we do is we have an annual chicken plate sale. And so then we're having a chicken plate sale on March 22nd. And that is the digital flyer, right? That is the digital flyer that you can go and purchase tickets if you want to support us. And so you it's self-explanatory. You go to that link, and then just want to play one, and you pay it right there and then. And what's going to happen is that we're going to get your name on the list so that when you go pick up your plate, what's your name? So-and-so. I bought 2 plates. I bought 3 plates. Or you want to sell some for us, for your family members. Doesn't this make it easier? Digital? Because I also have paper ones. So if anybody wants to help us sell tickets, I have paper ones because some people, like older folks, more mature folks, people that are not as technologically savvy, we still have paper tickets. So if you're interested in helping us, there's $12 a plate. And it's going to be in Edinburgh, Texas on McAllen and University. That's going to be March 22nd for our annual chicken plate sale. And if you want to learn more about it, please talk to me afterwards or talk to the young ladies in the back. And we'll get you more information. But that's the biggest announcement I have for now. Hopefully my computer doesn't die. But even if it does, everything I'm about to say and share with you guys, I have it all in my heart. So what I want to do this evening, I was going to talk about a little bit about. Well, I'll close with a little bit about lifestyles and habits. But I want to just do a little overview for those of you who are new to this class. I just want to do a little overview of what we do here. In this class, I talk about change. I talk about life change, success, which is my favorite subject, and overcoming in life. What I mean by that is that many of us, everybody that walks into this room, many of us come with a lot of problems, a lot of issues in our lives. We have like a mountain of issues in our lives. I work with a lot of men and women coming out of prison and rehab centers. You know, we didn't get there because we're singing too loud in the church choir. We got there because we lived a certain lifestyle. We lived a certain lifestyle. We believed a certain way. We lived a certain way, and we got ourselves in a mess in prison, rehab, whatever it is for you. And this class was designed to help people re-enter into society, right? Maybe not necessarily out of prison, maybe just out of rehab, or maybe a bad divorce. Just a bad lifestyle. Whatever it is, we're re-entering into a new phase of our life if you're interested in change. And that's what this class is all about. It's about change. But where do you want to go? What are you doing with your life? What have you done? What do you want? Do you want to change your life? This is what this class is all about. And so then, when you get there, because some of us get there when we're in prison. Some of us get there when we're in rehab. Some of us get there when we're homeless. Some of us get there when we're broke. Many of us, whatever brought you there, and what I mean by there is ready to change your life, ready to do something different. That's where we start. We start here. When you have this desire to change your life. Because what I just mentioned is many of us come from prison, rehab, right? The streets, tragedy. I don't know how to spell tragedy, so forgive me. Whatever it is for you, this is where we come from. And then we finally come to this line, this crossroads in life. Whatever brought you there. Near-death experience, homelessness, prison, whatever brought you there. The point is you have to get there. You have to get here. Vienes triste y whatever, pero we get there. I got there 27 years ago, broken, in a prison cell after robbing a store for one more hit on my daughter's 4th birthday. That's how I got there. Broken. Absolutely hopeless. And I got there and I said, you know, I want to change my life. I had a deep-rooted desire to change my life. And that's what it's going to take if you want to change your life. A deep-rooted desire. And once you get there, this is where this program comes in. This is where this church comes in. where you're ready to make some changes in your life. Now, the question is, what do I do? Who do I turn to? How do I change? What do I change? Who's going to help me? Has anybody ever thought that? Because that's the first thing I started thinking about when I was in prison, when I didn't know where to turn to. All I knew is I wanted to change my life. You have to have that prodigal son moment. I call it the choose a change moment. And in case you don't know about the prodigal son lost his mind, lost his money, went and sold, spent all the money that his father had given him. And when he found himself homeless and with no money, the Bible says that he came to himself. That's what I'm talking about. He finally came to himself. He snapped. Man, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing? And he went back home. He knew where to go. For us, many of us, we that's why our church is here. One of the things I teach in here that you need a relationship-based support system. A Christian relationship-based support system. That's this room. That's our church. And that's how you start rebuilding your life. But you got to get there. Once you get there, this class will be awesome for you. Because now, from there, I teach what I call the major keys to life change. Major keys to life change. Because I did a lot of reading. I was in prison. I did 13 years in prison. 6.5 of them is when I really wanted to change my life. And so then what I started doing is I started reading. I thought that reading, the reason I started reading in prison, guys, is because I wanted to change my vocabulary. And what I mean by that is that I was one of those vato locos forever. And what I mean by that is I had this prison lingo or street lingo. ¿Qué onda, carnal? ¿Qué onda, homie? ¿Qué onda, carnal? Chavarria, he understands me. ¿Verdad, Chavarria? I had this mindset of a drug addict. Okay? And I didn't want it no more. And so what I thought, I said, you know what? What if I start reading? That'll help me, right? That's what they taught me in school. Lo que no aprendí en la escuela, aprendí algo. I learned something. Read. So I started reading in prison. I started going to a library in prison. I tell people, my life change started in a prison library. And I started reading. And then I started learning about personal growth, personal development. And I had never heard those words before. Personal growth, personal development. And I started learning some things that I never knew. I started finding out that there was people that had gone through what I went through. In fact, people that were worse than I was, that were able to climb out of the mess they had created in their life and become successful. And that really caught my attention. I said, wow, you can do that? You can change your life? It blew my mind. It literally blew my mind that I could change my life if I wanted to. That's how I came up with choose to change. Did you know that? That if you don't like where you're at today, that you can, don't sweat it. You don't have to stay there. You can change. You can move. You can do something. And for me, that was priceless. Like, wow, I didn't know that. I thought I had to be a vato loco forever. And I found out I didn't. And my life started changing. I started learning these concepts, these ideas, this mind. My mind started changing. I started understanding that life was more about just me and me and me and me and me. It was about others, my family, my children, society, caring, loving, these things that I never cared about. And it made a lot of sense. So why am I telling you all that? The reason is because I learned a lot of stuff that after a while, it was like, man, what are the key ingredients? What are the things that really matter? What are the things that are shift makers? What matters? And so then what I came up with about 10 years ago is 7 keys. Out of everything I read, everything I've learned from books, from people, from business owners, from business people, from pastors, from leaders, from podcasts now, from YouTube, I search and search and search all about change. That's what I do. Success. I own my own business now. This is my 22nd year in business. I started this foundation 10 years ago. I learned some stuff. And here's what I learned about change. If you want to change your life, there are some key ingredients that can help you. If you just start shifting these things, if you start working on these few things, there's a lot of things, but if you start working on these things, your life will start drastically changing. You start, once you get here, remember? Once you get here, you got to get here first. Then you start. Well, the first thing I tell you, is that you're going to have to work on your faith. How many are where you want to be right now? Like in life. You're kind of like where you want to be. You're satisfied. Got one taker. She's satisfied. Most people are not. And so then here's what you're going to have to do. Because you're not where you want to be, or where you could be, or where you wish you could be, then you're going to have some faith. Faith. You're going to have to have faith in yourself, which is what I'm telling you right now. Believing that you can, believing that you will, believing that it's possible. That's called faith, in case you didn't know that. You're going to have faith in God, which I highly recommend. In fact, let me put exactly what I believe. Jesus Christ. Christ. Some people have a hard time with that or have a problem with it. I believe you need Jesus Christ. Because you're going to have to work on your faith. Your faith. Your faith. To believe for something greater. To believe that life can change. To believe that not only life can change, but that you can change. You need to have faith. The third thing you're going to have to start working on, which is the key that I talk a lot about. The heart of change is mindset, your philosophy, what you believe. And that's what I was talking about when I started talking that helped me change my life. I started finding out that the way I thought, especially when I was young, was not right. Because we're too young. I told the kids at a alternative school the other day, you know why we make so many mistakes when we're young? Because we're dumb. We don't know better. And there's nothing worse than staying dumb. Would you all agree? There's nothing worse than staying dumb. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe being sick and dumb. I guess that would be worse, right? That would really be the worst. Sick and dumb. Well, maybe not. Maybe sick, dumb, and broke. My point is, guys, that we have to grow. We have to learn. Well, there's another one. Ugly. Anyway, I better stop. I better stop. I better stop. Hey, I freaked out when I heard it. But what? My point is, you have to grow. And the way you're going to grow is if you work on your mindset, your personal growth. That's what's called personal growth. We start understanding that how we think is what you got you here. So then we have to start changing it. I'll never forget the first time a counselor in a rehab center told me, Orlando, your problem is the way you think. I'll never forget the first they told me that. I could not grab a hold of that. I did not understand it for the life of me. In fact, it took me back to prison because I didn't understand what she was trying to tell me. The way I thought. And let me give you an example of what she meant that I know now. What she meant is, if you think that you drinking and using drugs is a way of life for you that's good, you're wrong. And I used to think that it's okay to drink and drug as long as I don't hurt nobody. That's the craziest, stupidest idea and way of thinking that I've ever heard. Because you do hurt people, right? We do hurt people. I also tell you the truth in here, guys, because the truth is what's going to set us free. I used to think that I didn't need to learn and grow, that I knew enough. I used to think my wife has to love me the way I am. That's not a good way of thinking. I used to think my kid's going to do what I say just because. My point is, there's a lot of ways that we think that we have to learn to shift and modify. Would you agree? Does that make sense? Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. That's not a good way of thinking. One, because it's not true. No, some people may not like you. Some people may not love you. But it's not all true. Not everyone. I'm just a nobody. See, that's a way of thinking. I'll never change. I'll never. No. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Y'all get that? So your mind, the way you think. I teach a lot about in the mind. The other ingredient is your attitude. Remember, I'm giving you the key ingredients that I learned when it comes to life change and success and overcoming in life. These are it right here. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter who you ask or what successful person you ask. From the guy on YouTube to a pastor to a great leader, I'm telling you, these are it. This is it. Your attitude. Attitude is, some people say it's everything. I don't know if it's everything, but I know it carries a lot of weight. Would anybody agree? Because nobody likes people with a bad attitude, right? No. So attitude is huge. So we talk about that in here. The next one is habits, which is what I wanted to talk about today, habits and lifestyle. Habits, I don't think I have to tell you too much about that one. We all know all of us have bad habits. In fact, some of us, that's why we're here, because of our bad habits, both physical and mental. We have some bad mental habits. Habits. Habits and everything I just spoke about puts together your sixth ingredient to change, which is your lifestyle. How do you live? What does your lifestyle look like? If I were to ask someone that knows you, your mother, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your wife, your husband, that knows you, and I'd say, what are they like? What would they say? What kind of lifestyle does she have? What kind of lifestyle does he have? What would they tell me? Y'all get this? That's lifestyle. And then the final thing you'll learn in here is how all this comes together. Because these are not necessarily steps, they're keys, they're principles, they're values. It's because results is the end result of wherever you're at today. In other words, let's look at your life right now, where you're at right now. So far, if you're doing pretty good, well, okay, great. If you're climbing out of a hole, that's great. If your life is starting to change, that's great. My question is, where that is the results of all this. And results we learn in here, or I teach in here, is the name of the game. It's the name of the game at school. Results is the name of the game at work. Results is the name of the game in basketball. Even if they win by in the last quarter of a second by 1 point, results is the name of the game. Results is the name of the game with our parole officer. Results is the name of the game with our parents. Y'all get results is the name of the game. And you have to ask yourself, how did I get here? A more important question should be, how do I get out of here? And a more interesting question that can be is, do I even want to get out of here? I'm okay where I'm at. And so this is what this class is all about. Helping you move forward in life, changing your life. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions here? So what I do at the end of the class here in the next few minutes, if you're those of you that are new, come talk to me about the 90-day challenge. I give everybody the opportunity to take what I call the 90-day challenge. This is why I call it a 90-day reentry program, because there's something about 90 days that you do. So if you do something for 90 days, you start seeing something different. You start seeing some results, and it gives you an opportunity to make a decision. Do I want to keep moving in this direction? And for many people who come through these walls and into this room, they continue into a new life, into a new lifestyle. So in any case, I give you a 90-day challenge. And all that is coming here, coming to church, and texting us every day. That's it. And the idea is to help you start living a new lifestyle with new habits. And you'll learn here why that's so important. So talk to me afterwards. But as we close, let me close with, because I've been going through these steps one by one for the last 2 months. We're already on habits and lifestyle. I want to close with lifestyle. There's a scripture in the Bible. Well, let me close with that lifestyle. Part of change. And one is asking yourself, what do I want? Where do I want to go? What really matters? That's part of change. I'm sure that some of us that were in prison, we were in the cell thinking, what am I going to do with my life? What really matters? Some of us that have maybe just been thinking about life change. I looked up what most people want in life. Anybody want to think about what most people want in life? Does anybody have an answer for that? Do you know what most people want in life? Somebody said money. Peace. Okay. Health. Yep. What else? This is a top 10. Yes, you all of you named some of the top 10 already. So a spouse? That's a good one. Hey, I know people who want a spouse. That is a good one. Here's what I came up with. And no matter, and you can Google it, you can, whatever you want. All of them are about the same. Check this out. Here's the top 10. Happiness is always the first one. They just want to be happy, want to be loved, want love, want good health, financial security, meaningful work, a good job, in other words, freedom, strong relationships. Remember, this is what most people want in life. This is top 10. Personal growth. They want to grow. They want to feel like peace of mind and a sense of purpose. When I first learned this, it kind of like messed up my mind. Like, what? Wow. I had to start thinking of, because we never thought about this stuff. Because we're too busy working, making a living, trying to survive, trying to deal with our lifestyles, which are usually not too good. Especially if you were a drug addict like I was. I was not thinking about this stuff. But most people want happiness, love, and good health. But I was reading an article. It was talking about why most people can't find what they're looking for. Think about that for a minute. Why can't we? If that's what we really want, why can't we find it? What's it? Why is it so hard? Distractions? We can't find something we don't have within ourselves. I like that. My point is, very few find it. People find it. But we live in a society today that people don't want to get married. Divorce is. Why do people have a hard time finding these things? Well, I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe is because they lack God in their lives. They're trying to find something that nobody knows where to get. I mean, think about it. I was happy using drugs and alcohol. That's what made me happy. But I found out that is the most selfish, self-centered idea, mindset that you can have. I'm going to read you a scripture. It is in Ecclesiastes 12:9. This is in the Bible. Ecclesiastes was written is considered the wisest man that ever lived. The wisest man that ever lived. King Solomon. Ecclesiastes 12:9 and 10. And he had a lot of doubts, a lot of things that he went through. He was the richest man as well, by the way. And in Ecclesiastes 12, 10, after he shared, this is the end of the chapter. This is the end of the book, Ecclesiastic. This is the last words he shared after he was taught and wrote all about all kinds of life changes and ideas and things that happen, and the rich and the poor and the hateful, and it just all the. Here's what he finally said. He said, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are like goads, as the nails, as nails fastened by the master carpenter, which are given from one shepherd. And further, he says, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books, there is no end. And much study is weariness of the flesh. In other words, if you keep on searching and searching and searching and searching and searching and searching, you're never going to find what you're looking for. That's what he's talking about. Then he says in verse 13, so let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. He says, here's what really matters. Fear God. That's why I have faith there. Keep his commandments. In other words, do what's right according to him. And we'll get into that here in a minute. He says, for this is the whole duty of man. This is what we were created for, whether we like it or not. For God will bring every work into judgment. Every work into judgment. Everything we do with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And that's it. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So when I was trying to figure out how to change my life, here's the questions I was asking. What's truth? What really matters? Is this Jesus, this God that I learned about when I was young? Is that what really matters? Is that really truth? What's true? What makes sense? And what I did, let me tell you what I did. And this is why I teach what I teach in here. I spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to Muslims. I spoke to Jehovah's Witnesses. I spoke to Baptists. I spoke to Church of Christ. I spoke to Catholics. I spoke to a lot of people. And even throughout the years, I've listened to all kinds of beliefs and ideas. Someone talked to me about Buddha. And all of it, Jesus Christ made better sense to me. I'm telling you, that's what made sense to me. And you know what? That's why I took a chance on Jesus Christ. I said, I think I'll die on this hill. I think this is where I'll die. On this belief, on this idea. So people have asked me, how do you know? How can you be sure? I say, I can't. I can't. I'm going to just have to have faith. That's the same thing as someone tells you, how do you know that you're going to change your life? After what you've been through, after what you've done, after what you've seen. What makes you think you can change? And you can tell him with tears, I don't know. But I have faith. You see how important that is? And so then when I read those scriptures, and I've been searching for years, I said, man, Solomon, that makes so much sense. All that really matters is doing the right thing. Keep his commandments. Love God. For this is the whole duty of man. It made sense because it brought peace to my life. It brought happiness to my life. It brought joy to my life. It brought love to my life. Something I didn't know, something I didn't feel, something I didn't understand. It helped me become more healthy, more financially secure, a better job, all of it. All because I took a chance on Jesus Christ. And all of it came together. It made so much sense. And so that's why I'm so excited. I told you, I tell you why I was so excited. Because it makes sense. Because I remember thinking to myself when I thought, I want to teach this stuff. I said, well, everybody's going to be the same as me. They have questions. They have doubts. They're not sure. We need God. Because I can teach you all kinds of principles and ideas, but without God, without Christ, so we just have a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions here? Any comments? I'm going to close with this idea. You know what? I'm going to pass around the donation bucket. I brought my donation today. We always pass around a donation bucket for anybody who wants to help us out. You don't worry if you don't come prepared. If you can't, if you don't have any money, don't worry about it. But there's always our supporters that support us to help us. Yes, sir. Cash App, yeah, Cash App. It's right there. Look in the back. You see that? Right there. Thank you. And it's right there too. Or go to donate CTC. You can also go there. So Cash App in the back in the refrigerator. Cash or just there. That help us. So we're talking about what really matters. What people really want. We talked about what I teach in here. I want to tell you about a study that was done. Earlier, I told you about how part of what I try to do here is to help you build new relationships, because relationships are huge. They're so huge that 95% of your success or failure, 95% of your success or failure in life will be dependent upon your relationships or your friends. And check out this study. And then we'll close. The research of the impact of relationships on life. He says, an adult development study by Harvard University on the lives of more than 700 people was conducted, listen closely, over a 75-year period. That's huge. The participants were divided into two groups. One group finished college. They were educated. The other group were uneducated from a poor neighborhood. You got that? Two different groups. Then their personal and professional lives were studied for 75 years, as well as their health and their relationships. While most people thought that money and fame and education made them happier in life, the research showed something very different. It was good relationships that had the most positive impact in life. It's not about having a big circle of friends or several relationships, but having meaningful relationships. Man, I think about this stuff now. Today, I have a lot of meaningful relationships. I have awesome friends, incredible friends. He says it's about having meaningful relationships, quality versus quantity. So you need to ask yourself, if you don't have friends, you're never going to be happy. And you'll always need drugs and alcohol. The clearest message that we get from this 75-year-old study is that good relationships keeps us healthier and happier. I have a double date with a good friend of mine in 3 weeks. We planned it about 3 weeks ago, about a week ago, and I'm excited about that. Gonna go have dinner, and we're gonna go do something together as two couples, two friends. That's exciting. As you get older, you'll find out that that's true. But what happens when we don't have friends? We're miserable, discontent, unhappy, and depressed. Psychologist George Valiant said one of the earlier researchers of the study, he's one of the earlier researchers of the study, came to the same conclusion in his own words. He said, the key to healthy aging, and trust me, when you get my age, you want some healthy aging. Right, guys? Anybody can confirm? Or healthy aging, the key to healthy aging, he says, is relationships, relationships, relationships. So what really matters? Love God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Attitude. It's sad to see when you're older, when you see it from my perspective. I went to the alternative school on Monday. I go pray for the kids at 7:30 in the morning at this alternative school every Monday. And the principal, he came up to me, or went up to him, and he says, he just says, hey, thank you for coming. And then he turns to this little girl. He says, but this one really needs it. It's a 12-year-old little girl. And she had an attitude like you. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. That's what she said. She said, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody. Just like that. Just like that. Like I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it right. She said, I don't need my father. I don't need my mother. I don't need my sister. I don't need nobody. That's called misery. Misery at its best. Misery at its best. So I hope I helped you tonight. So thank you for coming. We'll see you next week. Same time. Amen. Thank you for watching. All right. But I have something for you guys.